And that Edelbrock Pro-Flo EFI is gonna run awesome.
I know he's gonna appreciate all the work that you're doing and that everybody else is doing. But like you said, Tori sacrificed himself for this country and for so many people. So giving back to him, really, it's a good thing.
Welcome to Sam's Garage, presented by NHOU Undercoating. This week, the Bandit project reaches the finish line with a complete LS swap, OEM-style exhaust, Willwood brakes, and digital gauges that blend factory looks with new school power. Then we head under Vic's 66 Mustang for the big moment. The Holley LS swap finally fires up with an MSD ignition and Sniper EFI system. With an Edelbrock Pro-Flo EFI and a full team of builders, we're giving back to a 9/11 survivor who deserves more than just horsepower. He deserves a dream car. And finally, at NHOU, Joe and Joey introduced their all-new V3 oil, a product designed to fight surface rust and protect vehicles for the long haul. The Bandit project is in the home stretch, 99.5% complete and loaded with upgrades. From a full LS swap and Pypes exhaust to Willwood brakes and decoded digital gauges, this car is now factory fresh muscle with modern performance.
Hey, Julie, how many times have I said that the last 10% takes way longer than the first 90?
Yeah, it happens a lot.
Well, that's where we're at. That means that I'm going to be in a lot of pain because I have to go underneath the dashboard and install my American powertrain, complete hydraulic clutch pedal assembly, and I want to go ahead and get my factory hood scoop right where it needs to be so it looks factory fresh and still shakes when you hit the gas. I got to hit the power steering stuff, just a little bit of odds and ends, and we're at that point where we're going to be doing this, and hopefully it'll run today. All right, we got the Bandit pretty much done. It's about 99.5%. The Pypes exhaust is installed. I like the fact that we decided to go with the OEM style. Now, there are two styles, one out the back, one down. I like that one better.
Yeah, that exhaust really, you really did a great job putting that together. It looks perfect. It's a perfect fit underneath.
Well, Pypes really came through with that exhaust system. Did a good job building it. We did a good job adapting to the LS swap.
Yep.
And Ron's machining service. You gotta upgrade the rear end, guys. Anytime you're doing a swap like we're doing, you gotta upgrade the rear end. We got stock OEM disc brakes, though. It is a WS6, right? It had 342 gears. We went to Ron's machining service, got the Elite brand, Torsen differential, along with 373 gears and 30 spline axles. Everything we need to do the full upgrade kit on this car, that's been done and completed. The rear Summit Racing springs and sway bar really complemented the handling capabilities of the car and makes it look a lot better under there.
Yeah.
And we got the clutch pedal in there from American Powertrain. We got the bell housing kit. We got everything we needed to put the TKX behind the LS swap. We got it bled. Everything is good to go as far as that goes. And it bled pretty easily considering.
No, it really did.
It really
that
did.
was probably, I've bled a lot of clutches with you. That was really, really quick too.
Now going on the inside, we got the Dakota Digital Instrument Cluster. That is nice.
Yeah, that looks great. It doesn't take away from the authenticity of the vehicle too, so.
Anytime we're doing a horsepower upgrade, you got to do the Willwood brakes.
Oh yeah.
We got 4-piston Willwood brakes in the back with 12.8-inch rotors. We got the same 13-inch rotors up front with 6-piston Willwood calipers. Huge compliment to the braking power of this vehicle.
Yeah, I was really shocked when we took the wheels off this car and saw that they actually had factory brakes. At least the rear ones were from the factory, still from 1979.
Yep, but he did his due diligence and put a 4-piston Willwood kit up front because he knows better. So he's a smart guy. The BRP hot rod engine mounts that we use, along with the cross member, they're right here in North Georgia. They do an awesome job with all the old school engine swaps, whether it's an LT or an LS. Check them out. They've got everything you need as far as A body, B body, everything. The Dirty Dingo front runner system.
Yeah, that's always really nice. Very good quality.
American made. He's a veteran. He does a very good job. He's been doing this since 2006. He is the master, one of them at least, when it comes to LS swaps and classic American cars. The Pro-Flo EFI, awesome. Edelbrock really knocks it out the park with that system. It works really well, very easy to program. You can use it with your phone. Very nice system. The cold case cooling system, you gotta have that.
Yeah, and it fits like a glove. It looks great.
3-row, a lot of cooling power, very efficient.
Yeah, and it looks nice. I mean, factory radiators don't look nice, and every time you put in, a cold case, it really adds to, under the hood.
It really turned out nice. This Summit Racing Bandit project is a very cool project. I think Mark's gonna really enjoy it. All we gotta do now is put some gas in this thing and hopefully it'll run. It's not gonna go home yet, but it's gonna run.
Welcome back to Sam's Garage, presented by NHOU Undercoating. Today's the day Vic's 66 Mustang wakes up with LS power. With an MSD ignition box, Sniper EFI, and some final wiring, this project is ready to roar to life. Old school looks and modern muscle bring everything together.
All right, so this is an exciting day. It's the day that Vic's 66 Holly LS project fires up. All we gotta do is install the MSD ignition box for an LS engine and we should be good to go. I got the radiator hoses complete, the heater hoses are installed. I gotta run my power and ground to the alternator, ground to the chassis for the engine block so the starter engages.
Yeah.
And we should be good to go. As long as she does everything correctly, it should fire. Pretty cool. Come a long way since these things first came out. What we have here is an LS series controller box. It's got the switch for you to tell it which engine you have, because this is good for both a 24 or a 58 tooth reluctor wheel. It's got a vacuum port in case you have to run boost, but it needs that reference for vacuum because it's a speed density setup. We have the sub harness, one's for the ignition. It's got pretty long leads, but if you remember, I put my coil packs down there on the frame rails, and I have extension harnesses that come in the LS Classic kit.
Here you go, Sam.
Thank you, Julie. All right, so these are the extension harnesses that comes in the Low Car LS Classic kit. It's gonna extend if I don't have enough room here to go down. We also have the crank position sensors and cam sensors. This is a pretty flawless, easy install. So this is really simple. One thing about MSD is it's so reliable, it's been around for 100 years. And you just pretty much plug and play, and if you don't pull out the laptop, you're almost good to go, it's gonna fire. And then you have to make sure whether you have a 58 tooth or a 24 tooth LS engine. I went to the sub harness, found the violet wire for me to hook up my TAC output for the MSD box to the Sniper, went into the Sniper, changed the settings inside there to my displacement, my camshaft, and what input I have, being a CD box in this case, going from a negative coil wire input, and it fires right up. So let's hear it run.
Ready?
Yeah. This thing turned out pretty good, okay? It's got a LS engine in a 1966 Mustang. Vic is not gonna know the difference, and hopefully it'll fool him. I do have a little clearancing issues, but it's all been taken care of at the master cylinder, so we're good to go. This was the secret to saving our butt today. How many times have I shown you how to put pressure in the cooling system with nothing in it, just to make sure you have no leaks? Well, we found the crossover tube rusted behind this black. You wouldn't even be able to see it until you put coolant in it and it was pressurized. Change that out. And then the petcock right here, the piece that tightens and loosens the actual petcock itself is just rotating and it's not working at all. So those are two big finds that would have cost us a big mess in coolant and a lot of money.
We don't need that.
We don't need that. We don't like messes. There's no reason to be a messy mechanic out there. Okay, guys?
I think we've had enough of those.
Yeah. Especially with the 4 engine that came out. All right, this is all fully done. Now the next thing we're gonna do is button everything up. All the little knick-knack things. Like I said, the last 1 to 2% takes longer than the first 99, but the good thing is that it runs.
Yes.
and it's motivating to get it done, right?
Yep, sounds
All right,
great.
get it done. Let me know when you're ready.
Rust is like cancer. In some ways, we're like a cancer research, right? And we're just trying to figure out, how do we slow it down? We ever get rid of it? No, but we can maybe put it into remission. So you get an extra 10, 15 years out of your vehicle. You can go on to my F-150, and I encourage you to take a little rag and wipe away the greasy spots around the frame. It's shiny black metal in most cases. So that's indicative of you being diligent with your service.
And the way the wax works, whether we're using the regular or the hybrid, is it comes in, it's more money, it's an overnight process, because you actually have to prep the vehicle, right? It's a lot harder to clean off than the oil. So, you know, we're wrapping the exhaust system, the drive shaft, that will spin out of balance with the wax, unlike the oil, right? And then we hang paper to keep it from getting on the outside. We spray it, we finish it up the next day, and then they come back every 2 years for a touch-up. So every 2 years, we re-oil all the cavities, and then we look the wax over for, you know, scratches, stuff on moving components, and we continuously touch those up every 2 years.
Welcome back to more Sam's Garage, presented by NHOU. We're back on Tori's Camaro, and this time it's personal. With Edelbrock Pro-Flo EFI, a full rebuild, and a team of friends and builders, this car is becoming the dream he never got. From 9/11 survivor to show-stopping revival, this one's special.
All right, so we got Tori DeBlasi's 92 Camaro back in the shop. The last time we worked on this, we put an EFI on it, but I'm gonna go with a Edelbrock Pro-Flo EFI. That way he can tune it himself when he's at home. They do an awesome job of making these cars look old school and run new school. So first thing we're gonna do is yank everything off and install the new Edelbrock. What we're doing with Tori's car is, there was a show where he was promised a Camaro. They built him a car and he never received that car. And so Michael Brianza came up to me and said, you know what, Sam, let's do something for Tori. I'd like to showcase that car. I said, well, Mike, he never got that car. I said, but I do have his personal car here. So we're gonna take this car, we're gonna build it up with the help of Michael Brianza. We're gonna send it off to Frank and Michelle Angerman. And they are a wife-husband team who do body work. So after Frank and Michelle are done with their part, we're gonna send it off to Gil and Linda at Gillen Custom Designs, and he's gonna do the whole interior for Tori. We all feel bad for what's going on, so we want to do something nice for Tori. He was a first responder at 2001 9/11. He is a survivor, so we want to give back to him. All right, guys, you see what we pulled out? Giant harness. This is to run a GM controller. It's giant. You wonder why we charge so much to hide this stuff. We've got our Edelbrock Pro-Flo EFI. This is for an LS3 with rectangular ports. It comes with a very nice compact harness. And then, depending on whether you have a 24 tooth or a 58 tooth, you'll have to buy the sub harness for the crank sensor and the cam sensor. What you want to do is, before you install everything, is make sure that this is going to work for you. All the caps that you need plugged off, as far as vacuum goes, is plugged off. The metal plugs is already installed by Edelbrock. So all I'm going to do now is flip this thing over, and we're going to install the O-rings. And it's very important that once you guys install these O-rings, before you put them on the vehicle, put a little bit of grease around the ports on the heads so that when you go to slide it, these guys won't roll out of their places. Now the feed line for the fuel is going to be over here, passenger front. My feed line is going to be back here, so I'm going to swap this over to the front. I don't have to remove the rails, I just have to remove the ends on both sides and swap them front to rear. All right, so what we did was ran the power and ground wire to the alternator, using it as a junction, because on this particular car, there is a power wire that goes across the core support because the battery is on the passenger side, and so the alternator is on the driver's side. So I got that connected. I've got my wire for the Edelbrock Pro-Flo connected to the alternator. Another cool thing with the Edelbrock is, like I said, you can do all the functions with your cell phone, so you don't need an extra handheld. There's no wire going in and out of the car. So it's important. That's what makes Edelbrock so nice. It's nice and easy. This is what GM uses in all their crate engines forever. Used to be fast, fuel air spark technology. Edelbrock took them over. Looks like we're complete. It will not run today. It probably won't run for a year. But Tori, I'm telling you, you've got one coming. And Mike Brianza is going to be heading the whole project because it's he who brought it up to me, and it's going to be at Carlisle in 2026 where we're going to reveal this project during the GM show.
Yeah, it's going to be great. Yeah, Tori's going to love this. This Edelbrock system's really nice and it's easy to use, and like you said, I mean, the bonus of being able to do it yourself on your cell phone instead of having to call you all the time and say, hey Sam, I need you to do this for me.
It gets expensive.
Welcome back to Sam's Garage, presented by NHOU. Vehicles cost more than ever, and Russ waits for no one. At NHOU, Joe and Joey are unveiling their new V3 oil, a cutting-edge formula designed to fight surface rust, creep deep into seams, and keep your investments safe. Protection built for today's roads.
You guys, today vehicles have gotten double the price, sometimes triple the price, and we want to protect that investment and make sure that vehicle can last as long as possible on the road, and that's where NHOU comes in. We have a completely new product. What's it called?
It's NHOU Boss Wax Hybrid, okay? Because we're in the industry, not just to develop products and sell products, but we consume the products, we see the vehicles coming in on a regular basis. A big problem right now is brand new, off the showroom floor vehicles come in with surface rust, but stuff that you shouldn't see on the undercarriage of a vehicle.
And that's the beginning, right?
That's the beginning. And so if people say they want to use our box wax, great. Boss wax really isn't designed to go over rust. And so we're having to remove this rust and, you know, play games and whatever, you know, to get the surface the way we need it. So what we did was we said, okay, how can we mitigate that rust and still offer them the warranty? And so what we've done is we've made a product. This is the product after 6 months. This is a product that's solidified. It creeped up to 2 inches. That actually is going to mitigate surface rust. And it takes about 3 months before it solidifies and seals, and you're not worried about encapsulation.
You have individuals that have a vehicle that's a few years old, got very mild surface rust, but they're not a candidate for our traditional Boss Wax because there's zero penetration and zero creeping. So with this product, you address that by having the oil in it to soak into the rust first before the wax solidifies on the surface and cures.
And the Boss Wax originally you would have put on a new vehicle where it's completely clean, and that's what you put on, and you service it rust-free, and you service it how often?
Every 2 years. Yeah, you come in every 2 years. Basically, it's a lifetime warranty. We'll on the barrier. So you come in, you have a breach in the surface, we touch it up, no problem. We re-oil the body cavities. Takes about 45 minutes, half hour, 45 minutes. So coming back in and having a maintenance program is as important as a good product.
Maintenance is always more important. It's going to cost less in the long run. People think maintenance costs money, but it doesn't, because once the tragedy occurs, it's 10 times more money. So it's very important that you guys do maintenance.
Yep, that's what we're all about. No magic bullet, one and done.
When you guys apply the wax, you use the standard oil in the cavities, or do you use the wax?
We use our regular oil,
Regular
in the cavities. That's the finish too, by the way. So that allows you to go through a car wash, dry to the touch, no collection of dirt and dust, which is what, when people come in with new vehicles, they kind of lean away from the oil a little bit because they don't want a dirty, dusty, greasy undercarriage. But that's a nice clean. You can go through car washes if you feel it's necessary, and it's dry to the touch. And then oil in the body cavities, because that's actually where you can't see, and oil is going to creep 7, 8, 9 inches, and you want to penetrate into the seams, spot welds, and the folds. And a rocker panel, you can't see it, so you got to spray oil.
You know, when you think about it, the maintenance is pennies to the dollar compared to replacing it and the investment money that you lose.
Cheap insurance.
Very important. So what we're going to do next week is we're going to show you two Ford trucks. One being a 2012 that has been coated and protected, belongs to Joe himself. One being a 2013, both Fords. And the 2013 may appear to be perfectly fine on the outside, but when you look up underneath, it is completely done for. So join us next week when we come back to NHOU and show you further how you guys can protect your investment.
Be sure to check out Sam's Garage on these other media platforms. Send us questions and feedback to info@samsgaragetv.com. That's a wrap for this episode of Sam's Garage. The Bandit's nearly road ready, Vic's Mustang fires to life, and Tori's Camaro is on its way to becoming something truly unforgettable. Plus, NHOU continues to push innovation in vehicle protection. Stay tuned, there's always more to come right here on Sam's Garage.